Alex Mahon. One thing that people may not know is that you are one of the people responsible for the best ever crime drama created by Homo sapiens. The Bridge.
The Bridge, yeah.
Respect.
Well, I'm not the producer of it, but my team were. My team were at Metronome and at Filmlance in Sweden and Denmark were, and it is an outstanding production. And then, we made The Tunnel between France and the UK, and we also made it in the US. We always dreamed that it could go more and more places, and in fact, I think they're still remaking it at different places, but it was a great show.
It's a brilliant time to be alive in the world of TV making. Do you see factual reaching the same height as drama has already conquered?
Well, I think Channel 4 shows we have on, like The Island with Bear Grylls, Hunted, and then we did Celebrity Hunted. Clearly there's big shows like Bake Off and others. The rise of the Rig Show, I think over the past 10 years had that impact. One Born Every Minute, 24 Hours in Police Custody, so on. There are lots of shows that have changed the genres in terms of, why do I say that, insight into people's lives. Rig shows have given us that emotional connection to how people feel through factual, which maybe we only got before in scripted. So I think they do have the chance to make that impact, and obviously you've got the potential to have those formats really local by making them in different countries.
Another issue that is, I think, affecting all of us is streaming services, changing the shape of both program making and content consumption. How are you making sure that your young audiences are not moving on to Netflix and YouTube and Amazon?
Well, young audiences are, of course, the people who move the fastest, right? And they absolutely are doing that. But the question is, have we got the content that engages with young audiences? So when we put on the shows that young audiences want to watch, they absolutely watch. But they watch it whether it's live or on demand. So Bake Off is actually the biggest rating 16 to 34 shows for us, because a lot of the time people are watching that content together. So those really huge shows have become almost more of a family event in fractured times when you could be on any device in your bedroom or any device in the same room together. Sometimes people are coming together more than they were before for the big shows. But I think it does raise questions about, do you need a different genre mix for linear versus on demand? Do we need to window differently? Do we need to repeat differently? But when we have a show that works, like we had The End of the Fucking World, which was a huge kind of dark cult comedy, it rates through the roof. People come to it and they love it and they watch it. It doesn't really matter as long as it's available for them in all the different ways they want to get to it, so they can both self-schedule or watch live. They come to the shows. So that's the question for us, right? It's the simple question for all broadcasters: how do you get more great shows? And then everything else is a sort of distribution question.
It's interesting because you, in your keynote, you raised the issue about watching content consumption becoming a very intimate experience, but at the same time, that shared viewing is quite an important thing for you, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think we do have two trends, though, going on. So one is, if you can self-schedule anything as an individual, how do you choose to do that, and what's your relationship with that content? Like, we all know that, like, if you're married, you'll be like watching one show separately, and it'll be like cheating on someone to watch an episode separately, but you'll keep doing it. But at the same time, people want relevance, so they want to be doing what others are doing simultaneously. They want to feel connected. So both of those things are going on at once. Both of those things are satisfied by both different and the same shows, and that's a question for us because the world is changing very fast.
What have been the biggest highlights for you in the evolution of formats in the recent years?
Well, I think we haven't seen a big studio entertainment format evolve really since The Voice. So, there's always that gap in the market. You come to MIPFormats here and you see there hasn't been a big new show for that. We've all been looking for it. There have been factual evolutions. So the Rig Show would be one. There have been reality evolutions. We're seeing that faster and faster. I guess, we haven't seen really any of those for the past 6 or so years that have been immense and have traveled really fast, but we're all here looking and constantly thinking about how to innovate and move genres on. But big shows are staying on air for longer. So one of the issues as producers is they don't necessarily have the slots. That's just what I was talking about in the keynote, is how do I, as a broadcaster, create enough slots and time in the schedule to do that risk and creative innovation.
I love how open and honest you are about the gender gap in the industry and in Channel 4. Is there anything you are doing to tackle unconscious bias against women, ethnic and other minorities?
So gender pay, really important issue for us, and obviously I'm the first female CEO of a big UK broadcaster, so inevitably really important to me. It's going to be, and I've spoken for a long time about diversity issues. So part of my job is to shine a light on that, to be honest, and to talk about it really publicly and think about the change we're making. Big investment for me there is a women's development and leadership program to give women the skills and the coaching in order to be ready for those next opportunities as they come up, to make sure I've got a really full pipeline of talent. I've also talked quite a lot about what it is to work at Channel 4 and in the UK industry if you're not white. What are the issues of ethnicity and the prejudices against that in our organisation and other organisations. And Channel 4 has top of the charts in UK broadcaster. We're better than anyone else. But my point is I'd like us to be more of a beacon of inclusivity across other industries. So I've set a really clear target of 20% of staff from BAME backgrounds. But that's not just all staff. It's got to be at management and leadership levels as well. So for me, that's about being really clear about what I want to change, being clear and open about the honest and quite difficult conversation about why there are problems. That's the hardest bit to do, right? Because once you can talk about the barriers, you can work out how to get rid of them. But you have to create an environment where you're comfortable having difficult conversations or uncomfortable conversations. That's the really hard bit. And then set a clear target and kind of push everyone towards it.
Alex Mahon, it has been amazing to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex.
And see you soon.